Has anyone ever told you about the birds and the bees? Well, here's another version of that same old story, with beautiful birds like you in mind. Pantyhose for only 79 cents.
79 cents?
Sure, it's Little Honey's Pantyhose by Beaumont.
Little Honeys by Beaumont. 79 cents.
Buy 2 pairs for the normal price of other brands.
The Bureau has forecast rain for today. However, it is fine and it looks a very pleasant morning in Sydney. So, I don't know, half a dozen to one, 6 to the other. And the time is exactly 7 o'clock. A.M. 2UW News, good morning. A single strand 66 diamond necklace insured for $10,000 was auctioned last night with a boat, twin Aberdeen Angus steers, a pewter tankard and a pin cushion made out of an emu's egg to raise money for St. Luke's Hospital. The jewellery bought $7,000 and the pin cushion $60. Late last night, with about 100 lots sold, the auction had yielded $12,300. Moratorium organisers have made an application to the City Council for a meeting to be held in Hyde Park on Saturday. They're seeking to arouse public interest in calling for a royal commission into events which occurred last Friday during the anti-Vietnam March. However, permission for the meeting is not likely to be given. The full council does not meet again until October the 6th, and it's the council's policy to withhold permission for controversial public meetings in Hyde Park. In world news, the United States has announced an end to its embargo on the shipment of heavy arms and military equipment to Greece. The embargo has been in effect since April 1967. The decision clears the way for the shipment of about $56 million worth of aircraft, tanks, helicopters, armored personnel carriers, and other items to Greece in the next 2 years. Jordan's King Hussein has asked the United States, Russia, Britain, and France for diplomatic assistance to help restore peace in his country. In Washington, President Nixon's press secretary, Ronald Ziegler, declined to reveal whether King Hussein also had asked for possible United States armed intervention in his army's battle with guerrillas and...
I used to think that I'd grow up to look like a model one day. And now I know that some of them are much younger than me. And when I was little, I used to think that it didn't really matter how naughty I was, because they grew out of it sooner or later. Maybe I never will after all. In the summer, I used to come down to the beach quite a lot with some of the girls I went to school with. I like those days at the beach. We'd spend most of our time just sitting around talking about anyone who didn't happen to be there that day.
Did you see Claire over at Rosalind's party the other night?
No? What'd she do?
You should have seen her. She was just all over this boy. I don't even know why boys like her. She went up and asked him to dance. She's revolting.
She's going to be pretty unpopular soon if she steals too many other girls' boyfriends. weren't always catty. We talked about clothes because no one had any. And money, no one knew how to make any. And what everyone was going to do. Everyone seemed pretty confused. I decided that I was going to look for a wonderful, handsome man. I didn't care if he had any money or not. I'd be happy just living with him. How corny can you get? But really, when you get down to it, there isn't much else you can do in the end. My mother's all right. She's always getting headaches and things like that, but apart from that, she's all right. One day we had a talk, and from the way she was talking, it seemed as if I was going to go to university to do arts. I didn't really care at the time. All I really wanted was for someone to tell me what I really wanted, then I'd go right ahead and really want it. I don't think that she ever really liked me much, and I suppose that's not her fault. She put up with me quite well, though, because heavens, I'm her second chance. Just think what she might be able to do with me. She might be able to turn me into what she wanted to be and never was. Though mostly she let me do just whatever I liked. So you see, she let me keep on bringing me up properly, which I've been doing very well so far. Fickle fate. A ghastly disaster. Eventually uni started, which was really quite frightening. I think most of us are pretty scared about it anyway. There are all those people wandering around everywhere out there, all trying to be somebody or do something, all trying to find a place in society, all with their own particular hobby horses which they ride to death. And far be it from me to stop them riding along the King's Own highway. Uni wasn't at all what I expected it to be, so it was all rather disappointing, really. It isn't full of superhumans, just ordinary people. Except that a few of them are quite intelligent. The next day wasn't so bad, though. That day I met Simon, who turned out to be a potential novelist. He was about 23. He looked awfully depressed and downtrodden, sitting in a lecture.
Gravity gets you down, doesn't it?
There's nothing dirty and nothing clean, only it's intuition, it's intimation. The man is quiet.
Intuition.
We will now proceed. If there are any serious sensible questions, please go ahead. But I'm not here to answer irrelevant issues. My dear young man, you've just arrived. I doubt whether you know what we're talking about.
The light! What a paper? The light! The majority of the light throughout the world have been called and organised anarchists, militant socialists and communists. They are using the light to undermine society. Does anyone dispute that? Right, now let's look at the evidence. And individual evidence. I take them bit by bit. Right. France. What happened in France? In France at the time of the light.
I criticise the Liberal Country Party, but I must also attack the Labour Party, because Gough Whitlam said last week that the reason that the police are brutal, quoting his own words, was the fact that people who went to Vietnam came home and joined the police force and practiced the tactics they learned overseas. I hardly think so, do you? What would the Labour Party do for an election promise, for an election statement? Basically, they'll be up the creek. And all elections now, it has become quite the set thing to stand up and say, we'll give the pensioners a go, we'll give the Aborigines a go, we'll give the servicemen a go, we'll give the RSL a go. Because when they get in, they forget who they're going to give a go to. Because if we start giving everybody a go, we'll have no one to talk about. And we'll also have no money.
Can you give me an alternative to that? Come on. Never mind about government. Can you give me an alternative? But thank God today that Jesus Christ came into the world, my friend, to give man a fresh start, a new dimension, a new power. Now see this young
man turned out to be quite cute, really. But I think he was perverted by philosophy. He had all sorts of hang-ups. He had to think about things all the time and find meanings for things. Hidden meanings for meaningless things.
We've been talking about what can we do about censorship.
Well, I suggest we don't go to see a film that has been censored by the censor.
And how do you stop everybody going? It's not going to do any good if you don't go or if we don't go. How are you going to stop enough people going to do any good at all?
No, the thing is, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to change, basically, you're going to have to change the attitude, the thinking of, the people like the Film Censorship Board.
And how do you do it?
Well, you can by protesting,
I think
by writing to papers,
writing to papers, I think there's a lot of good in a lot of
I tell you, the easiest way, you have the vote, change the government.
How do you change the vote with the government? How do you change the government with the vote?
You get
somebody else
exactly
the same.
When you change the government, you change so many policies.
And I'm certainly not going to change the government.
If you believe in something sufficiently enough, you get enough people believing it, they have the right to vote
How
to
do you
change the
get
government.
them believing it? How?
And I think that the answer to getting them to believing it is if we put on and if people put on more plays that are on the borderline, because they're getting very cunning now with censorship and they don't know whether they can censor a thing without causing a riot or not.
Yeah.
But you get an absurd case like the boys in the band, for argument's sake. In Sydney, they go away with and everything like this, and everybody used it. But in Melbourne, when they went to Melbourne, they have a different state law. So the policeman in Melbourne goes into the theatre and sits down and writes down. He sort of sits with his notepad and writes down all the four-letter words that were used. So they come to the court case, and when they sort of got to the court case, the old magistrate said, "Yeah, no, all right, what's your evidence?" And the prosecution said, "Oh, well, Detective so-and-so went and saw the show, and they used this word." And he said, "What word?" So he wrote it down on a piece of paper and handed it around to everybody, and they had on the word, see. But they weren't game to mention in court. And the defence, as part of the defence, said, is a normal word that's used everywhere. And the mob...
This could have corrupted the cleaner, did you think of that?
Corrupted the what?
The cleaner, it cleans up the place.
They had all these little old ladies in court grooving on this four-letter word because they can't use it themselves. Anyway, what happened? The prosecution then tried to prove that it wasn't a word that was just used in private. It was a word used everywhere. So he raced off and looked at his law books, and he came up with a portion of the law whereby they had to release the word in court. They had to say, in court. So everybody who's sort of passing a grubby little piece of paper from the magistrate down had to come out with the word and he won the case because, and this is brilliant, because he won the case because he got a sensible attitude. He got people to admit that they had used it for a long, long time. And it wasn't a dirty, grubby little word, but it was something that they had used. It wasn't only used in private, but in in everyday conversation.
I know what it means, you know.
Do you?
Filed under carnal knowledge. It's a law term.
That's right.
Under carnal knowledge.
Isn't that clever?
From the 18th century or
Well,
something.
ever since I was in primary school, how did that word come about?
But you see, you can't really, I don't know. I suppose people I know that would get offended if you use it in front of them, and I think they have the right to, and I don't use it in front of them. But, I mean, you can't really subject them to it all, too, but I suppose they shouldn't go and see the play.
Look, what about the fact that distributors at times censor things themselves so that they won't, be put off by the censors, so that the governments will be happy, just to keep them happy.
Well, perhaps it's better
They're not
to have them-
interested in their own films, they only want to make the money, and that's all it is.
Perhaps it's better that part of the film gets on than no film gets on, which would be the case. And if part of the film gets on, we can all kick up a fuss because it's censored. At least we have that opportunity.
No, but why should a distributor, why should anybody have to, seeing this as a so-called democracy, why should anybody have the right, to have to crawl up to a government? Why should you have to make the government
All
happy?
very well, but if you want to get your film on, this is what you have to do.
But what about the people?
No, you shouldn't. You've got to stop that.
All right, we know it's wrong. What's to do about it? What can you do?
Well, if a film's been cut, we won't go to see it. Now, I won't see Woodstock.
And how are you going to...
But nobody's
we
going to
don't
care.
But I care. I'm not going to see Woodstock.
But you're not
Yeah.
changing anything. You're just... That's the thing.
They're losing about $2 from me that I'm going to pay.
And they've made more on Woodstock than goodness knows
Yeah,
what.
but the thing is that if you can get enough...
If you can get enough people,
Right.
how do you get them?
Well,
I know people who never saw the Dirty Dozen over here because it was cut.
Anyway, if they're all this trouble, why don't they just take a census, and find out who wants what, and then just give it to them?
Because they won't. Because the thing is that we've got... No, it's the responsibility. No, and I mean this. It's the responsibility of young people to change things, because if we feel this way, see, the majority at present rules completely.
It'll change.
It won't change unless you
what
do
we can
something
do
about it.
is to get a film of band and show it and let them prosecute
Yeah,
it.
but the thing is, what's that going to do? You've got to get up to the parliamentary heads. You've got to change the thing yourself. You've got to now.
By the time you get there, you've changed anyway. You've grown up.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
Because
it's not crap.
It depends on if you believe in something sufficiently. What about people who play on pornography? People who want to make a quick buck out of sort of selling sex. When they did down at the
Why can't they? Why
Yeah, but
can't
the thing,
they?
hang on, look, this is it. This is the thing that really yucks me. When they did Fortune Men Dies down the ensemble, right? They had the big fight scene between Rocky and the other guy. They went out into the bathroom in a big smash-up. Sal Arminio in New York, so he could sell the play. Now, this play has tremendous social comment. So he could sell the play. Brought onto stage the bathroom scene. So what was in people's imaginations, which they could project madly off stage about this big fight scene, it's brought onto stage. So what happens? You've got two guys in the nude fighting. Because it sold the play. He made a hell of a lot about it. But what is happening is people are thinking, what, gas bodies, what, bib bodies, but they're forgetting the social comment of the play.
Well, what about Portnoy's complaint? They banned it, right? And the publishers brought it out. Penguin or whoever it was brought it out.
Yeah, because they knew that once it was banned, people would buy it.
I don't think so.
Rubbish.
Penguin seemed to me, by doing that, a little bit cluey.
No, yeah,
Not
business-wise.
No, not just business-wise,
Oh,
because
rubbish.
Portnoy's complaint is definitely a book that I cannot see any reason for banning, that nobody that I've known that read it can.
Have we got any right to have it taken away from us? Have we got any right for people to say, no, you can't read that, you can read that?
No,
The thing
we
is,
don't have
well, the
it
thing
all.
is, what are we doing about it? We're going to sit on our big fat asses here for the rest of our life and do nothing?
about it?
Well, let's change something.
How?
Well, how do you change things?
Well, the government is in charge of censorship.
Well, but
The
listen,
government-
you're in charge of the government.
You're not in charge.
Oh, rubbish, you're in the government.
Well, we can all go and stand outside the court with banners.
Well, why not?
Yeah, we can do
You
that.
know, this is the thing. We've got
We used to do a lot of talking in those days.
telling us and
For Simon and his crowd, it all seemed to be pretty important stuff.
We'd like to see
But in spite of their grand ideas and plans, we never actually got around to doing anything. It really wasn't my scene at all. So you move out, and there you are. Poor, and not much more independent than you used to be. But now you can sit around talking intellectual talk about Virginia Woolf and things. Of course, we don't have time to study anymore. We have to spend too much time contemplating. You know, working out the meaning of our existence. When and if we ever do, then we'll probably get such a shock that we won't be able to face life anyway.
Put your head up a bit there. Yes, that's good. Put your arms out a bit. Yeah. Feel how lovely and hot the light is. Relax. Good, good. All right, here I go. Can I check some focus? Not the sand, that's right. Nice light on your eyes. Yes. That's good. Put your head nice and straight. That's right. Bit looking in the lens all the time. Good. That's good. Just be you. Don't try and be a great model or anything. Yeah. Looking at cordial. Put your head straight. Yeah, that's right. More straight. One more. Dead straight on. Yeah, good. Look in there. Good. Stretch your arms. And then just relax there. Change yourself a bit more. That's right.
I didn't really think
The
I
light
could
shining
model,
on your breast.
but he said I could.
That's right. A bit more.
Said I had the right personality for it or something.
That's right.
All I wanted was a part-time job. I needed money to afford my new independence.
Not so worried. That's right. Just put your hands on your thighs there, just around, just... No, that's bad. Like you were, I think. Clasp them in front of you, that'll be good. Now more side on to the light, just so it's shining across the front of you. That's right, good. And your head straight, that's very good. Beautiful. Just turn your shoulder to me just a bit more. That's right. Turn the other way. That's it. Good. Now turn your body more side on. That's right. Yes, good. A bit more. Looking this way. Bring your head this way. That's right. Good. Just stand up. Put your head up to the side. Not too high. Just try and relax. Just like you were before. That's really good. That's right. Just bring your head down a little bit. Not down, that's too much. Up in the sun like it was. That's good. Really good. Just turn away a fraction, half an inch. Keep your head up. Just turn your Just shooting your head, just your head and shoulders. So yes, where were you looking at? Down a bit? No, you're doing too much. Just down a little bit. Head down a bit. That's right, good. Turn your head to me a bit, just a bit, yeah. Keep your head right back. Right way out of that. No, too much. That's good. That's right.
He flattered me, and I enjoyed it. I knew I wasn't as good as all that, but I liked to think that I could be. I even got some satisfaction from it. It gave me a new image. I liked him a lot.
On the contrary, Father, I get very fond from them.
Dreadful joke.
Another one. How about you? Look down the street, so be something to get all the good figures. What are they up to? Boy. Yeah, that's boy. Just speaking on the telephone to people. Hello, Harry. How are you? Welcome to Australia. I see you're sure, yes. Nothing like King Kong, mate. Can't beat King Kong.
After the modelling bit was over, I did at least feel calmer. I actually began to work hard at studying. For a while, everything and everybody just drifted by while I talked with Plato and Thackeray and lots of other good friends. I suppose I liked them because they'd never been known to answer back. Reading a lot seems to make you feel calmer. Or maybe it just makes you feel more resigned. I really wanted more than anything else was to have written a book. But then year after year, it just never came. I don't really know why I so badly wanted to have a book written by me. Probably because I thought having done something creative and having it going around with my name on it was the thing which would have given me the greatest possible sense of satisfaction and achievement. You know, it really is funny how things work themselves out. Because one day I looked up and realised once and for all, he's doing engineering. He's serious, hard-working, and I even like the way he looks.
She's, you know, pretty and everything, and very friendly, a bit moody. She doesn't work as hard as us. She always seems preoccupied with something. She probably won't get on as well later. Has been difficult, very difficult, of course, as it is with anyone rearing any children, and of course a daughter. You know, there are things you try to tell them to beware of without suggesting these things, but of course then to find that, well, after doing all that we have tried very, very hard, and as you say, it has been very, very difficult at times, and as usual, mother goes without. To put her through university, and at last we get her there, and she just wants to throw it all in. Well, of course, to us, this is very, very disappointing.
Pretty kinky bird, a bit way up, a bit lost, very mixed up. I say she needs quite a bit of help. This is just my personal opinion. She needs, to get her teeth gritted into something and sort of firmly establish herself. It's a very, very obvious thing. Women just aren't the same as men. Men are so far superior to women. women just never be able to catch up anyway. I don't take them out unless they're interested in sort of, political science or politics of some form or another. And unless they're prepared to sort of do what I want to do, sort of back me up and get behind me, and sort of help me in these type of things, in the development of sort of my ideas and this type of thing, well, they're no use.
She will develop, and she's keeping on trying, which is a good thing. She hasn't got much money. She's living in what would be sort of normally pretty poor circumstances, but she's really seeking. She's not going to compromise and go and live with a rich man or do something. She's trying to find herself and find something out about life, and not in just a superficial way.
This is a good feature.
I think that's a good feature of her. She's genuinely seeking. She's not about. I think she gets led astray. As a person, she gets influenced in the wrong direction and taken off. That's what I think is the wrong direction for her. She keeps coming back. I lose contact with her and come back to her, and I don't see her for a few months, and I see her again, and I think, well, it's still there. The same person is still there, and she's still seeking. I don't know how much or what sort of water's gone under the bridge in between, but something that I haven't been a part of. I like her. I appreciate her. I appreciate what she's trying to do and where she's trying to go. The things she's trying to seek. I think she's coming very closely into finding those things. And I'd like to be with her while she's seeking those things and helping her, not just of like daddy or something or other, and not like a lover, but as a person and a friend, helping her out, and she helping me, just sort of sparking off each other, and I quite like her a lot.
Oh, I'd like to be sort of jet sitting around the place and just experiencing things, seeing things. I would have liked to have studied something, I don't know what. Be just sort of, I don't know, I'd like to be a lot more knowledgeable than what I am, that's all. I like to learn things, anything, and just experience things. I just think it was two people, very sort of funny, strange-looking people, sort of looking at me over their shoulders with a very puzzled expression on their face. But sort of whispering about me in the corner, but not knowing what to do about me. It's probably a very egotistical thing. I want to get a little human being and say, right, well, you're going to be brought up the right way anyway. You're going to be terrific. You're going to get everything I didn't get, and you're going to be really beautiful, which is sort of really selfish. But that's half the reason why people have children anyway. It is, well, it's a natural thing. I suppose I've just got a sort of natural animal instinct to have children because I'm a female. That's right. I think of me as a teenager, as about 14 or 15, and I just sort of saw myself wearing these lay-out clothes and feeling terribly rebellious and everything about my parents. That's all. Apart from that, I'm pretty sort of apathetic, I think, about everything. Disillusion. I I don't know if I've experienced love or what love really is. It's not, I think it's just not what I think it is, that's all. What I've experienced it to be, I thought it was. Oh, gone off it. Yeah, it's a physical thing, but it's terribly so shallow in a way. Unless you're really in love with somebody. And I don't know what love is. I don't know if I've ever experienced love. Now, when you're in love with someone, it's a beautiful thing, beautiful, fulfilling thing, but apart from that, it's shallow. It really doesn't mean anything much. Well, because I've got no hang-ups about premarital sex, marriage isn't automatically a little certificate to have sex, so it's, to me it's just a sort of a little social structure thing with little human beings and two people producing them and having a little home unit so they can be brought up properly, I suppose, or, so they're well-adjusted human beings, that's what it is to me. But it'd have to be a totally different scene from what it is here or what's around me. Not here, but what I see around me. It's such a sort of vegetating sort of thing. Deadening process, I don't know. Well, I know I'm looking for a form of security, but at the same time I reject it because I don't want to be tied down to anything. Just got this sort of conflict thing inside. It's quite easy to sort of, as I said before, I could get something solid. I could sort of take up a career, and I could be half interested in it, and that means then I could turn around and say, well, look, I'm doing something constructive, but it's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily going to be happy. But it's sort of doing what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not, So why fool myself?
She's a pretty kinky bird, a bit way up, a bit lost, very mixed up. I say she needs quite a bit of help. This is just my personal opinion. She needs, to get her teeth gritted into something and sort of firmly establish herself.
What do you think?
Yeah, he's right when he says, I'm definitely confused, and I definitely need to get I definitely need to get my teeth into something, I suppose. But what, I don't know, so I can't, I'm still looking for it.
How have you been looking?
I can't sort of say I've been so wandering around looking, but I just know that there is a need for something like that, something constructive. But what I don't know what it is. I can't really look for it because I don't know where to start looking. What is it? It might be something that all I really want is peace of mind. Yeah, I believe in God. I don't believe in a sort of little man with a beard in the sky, but I believe in a sort of existence which we're all part of. Sort of like atoms of a whole atom. And this thing is beautiful, it flows in a direction and we've just got to flow with it, and if we don't, well we don't. And it's all the worse for us, but it's there nevertheless. It's a sort of natural law that just exists, it just is. You have the planet Uranus in close conjunction with your ascendant, which to say the least is at odds with your ascendant. Yeah. Cancer is conservative, Uranus is rebellious, radical. Position in the 12th house could lead to emotional breakdown or instability in the emotions. This is particularly a problem from the 26th to the 28th year. In romance, you require a strong masculine figure, as far as marriage is concerned, to act as a stabilising influence on the 12th, first house area. Your 5th and 8th house represent romance in a physical sense. 5th is ruled by Scorpio. The ruler of Scorpio is Mars, and Mars is in the 11th house. You must choose your friends carefully, as you will be profoundly affected by association. That's all right. Yeah. And I agree with that. It's nice to see that, because I've always thought that there's something in me that's sort of striving for, that's, as I said before, the security thing, and then the other side, there's another half that doesn't want to be tied down, that doesn't want that at all. That's what the big sort of problem is, I suppose.